Cool, I'm recording on my end. Cool.
Ready.
All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, we want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. We also want to give double honors to our apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that do rule well through the Holy Spirit. And we want to say peace, blessings, salutations as always unto you elect that are across the four winds of this earth, fulfilling your lots in all truth and all sincerity. We're the extension, of the fruit of Yahweh Shai, the Great Millstone Dallas branch, coming to you all with another class session. And Lord willing, it's edifying unto you flock that are sincere. All right, because this thing of ours, and when it comes to preaching the gospel and this ministry, it's not about the gimmicks. It's not about the outward. The Lord looks on the inward. And only the inward is going to recognize the true understanding of the true essence of the power of the Heavenly Father. All right, you got Israelites that are just floating around. That is just, you can just tell by their spirit, the outward. The more that you portray more of an outward look, the more righteous you are. Right. Which is jacked up. Because these are guys that supposedly know the scriptures. But it just goes to show you, you can read the scriptures and then you can know the scriptures. Right. And there's a grand difference between the two. All right? And to know the scriptures and understand it, you have to belong to the flock of Yahweh Shai. And that's the point of this lesson here. My sheep hear my voice. And in this lesson, we're going to obviously bring out the precepts pertaining to that. But also I want to go into examples of when Yahweh Shai was revealed to those that wasn't even looking for him. And also, too, they didn't know it was him. And they pretty much reacted to what he said based off of the voice. And that's what we're going to go into within this class session. And the first scripture we can start on can be the account when Yahweh Shai rose from the dead in the book of St. John, the 21st chapter, when he spoke to his disciples, because he visited those men a few times after he rose from the dead for that 40-day period. I believe it was 40 days, if I'm not mistaken, that he was with them after he rose from the dead before he went back up to sit on the right hand of Yahweh. Okay? So we're going to go into a few of those accounts and in these accounts, we're really going to magnify how these men reacted off of faith just by the voice, and how those men, that spirit, I'd rather say, is here today. Because again, if you belong to Yahweh Shai, it's not going to be no outward thing that you're just going to believe because of it. It's going to be the spirit. Somebody can also, Baba Kishah, hold of Romans chapter 8, starting at verse 13-ish, I think.
I got one for you real quick.
Consequent.
This is Matthew 23 and 28. Even so ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within you are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. You got it.
That's right. And when you go into that account, Yahweh Shai is rebuking those wicked scribes and Pharisees. And you see that spirit floating around Israel today. All right, those that are crucially zealous in the law, but they weren't looking at the things that they were doing that weren't fulfilling the law. And you see that spirit again floating around throughout all of Israel. And it's really to the point, you look at what our forefathers did. The spirit and prophecy say it through the spirit that we was going to go out and teach the Gentiles. So you got Israelites that know that they're Israelites. They're hell-bent that they're Israelites. They magnify the law like it's going to save them, which the law is special. And the law is spiritual. All right? But you have to be in the spirit to understand the dynamics of the law. So I wanted to say that too, because you got guys that float around thinking that we just down the law. No. The law is spiritual, but we're not righteous enough to keep the whole law. This is why we're under grace. So this message is to those that are under grace. We can bring out John chapter 9 as well, going into that. All right, you got guys that feel like they just know it all, and you can't tell them anything. Well, the Lord ain't dealing with that.
What would be the need for Yahweh Shai?
That's
and
right.
The Savior being prophesied to deliver us if we could be justified by our perfection and our merits in the law.
That's right.
You basically saying you don't need the mediator.
That's right. That's it. Your own righteousness is what makes you worthy enough to be delivered, is what you're saying.
Right.
Well, none of us are righteous. Yahweh Shai is our righteousness. Right. Our own righteousness is as of a filthy rag. Right. So none of us have a way to brag nor boast. Okay? But yeah, if somebody has that John 21, we can start from the top on that and read down. Consequent.
All right, because I was going to get that anyway. That's
spirit.
This is John 21:1. It says, after these things, Yahweh Shai showed himself again to the disciples at the Sea of Tiberias, and on this wise showed he himself.
And this was the same sea where he walked on water You know, it's a very spiritual area.
Let me look at that word.
You know, con. Yeah, no problem, no problem. This is also another name for it. Is also called the Lake of Galilee.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Mhm.
Tiberias from the Tiber as river god, a city of Galilee, near the lake of Gennesaret. All right,
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, con. Yeah, for sure. So it's, you know, where he met them at. And this is also Yahweh Shai's last time pretty much breaking bread with them before he ascends up to his Father. You know, this is the last chapter in the book of St. John. You know, you got it, Squan.
All right, St. John 21:2, it says, there were together Simon Peter and Thomas called Didymus and Nathanael of Cana in Galilee.
Which is also Bartholomew.
Right. It says, and the sons of Zebedee and 2 other of his disciples.
Yeah, so what is that? There was that,
7.
how many of them? 7 of them, right?
Yeah, 7,
Ooh,
7.
Spirit. You got 7 of these brothers that were fishing at this time. So, and again, this is after Yahweh Shai had already died, resurrected, and they've already seen him a few times. You know? You got it.
Verse 3, it says, Simon Peter said unto them, I go a-fishing. They say unto him, we also go with thee.
Mm-hmm.
They went forth and entered into a ship immediately. And that night they caught nothing. But when the morning was now come, Yahweh Shai stood on the shore.
So you can imagine being there all night and not catching anything. You know, that's a lot of labor fishing. You out there in the water, you casting bait, reeling it back in. It's a very tedious process when it comes to fishing. You ain't just throwing the line up in there. You got to get your hands dirty. You know,
pick the hook and all that shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to know the spots where the fish are biting. And these guys, being master fishermen, you know they already applied all of that. And we got a fisherman sitting here right now. You know, the brother Matthew.
We all fishermen now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, his brother's a fisherman. You know?
So we go all day. We here fish, we're fishing.
But you got to know where they biting at, know where the shaded areas are. Because that's where the fish going to be at, is those shaded areas.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, those are things that they all factored in. And they were there all night and they didn't catch anything. And that's absurd to a fisher. To be there all night and not catch nothing.
They start weathering. If it's too hot, they're at the bottom.
Exactly. It's a whole lot of dynamic. It's an art to it.
Right,
It's
to
a
it.
science. It's a profession.
Right.
You got it, bro.
Okay, it says, I'll read verse 4 again. John 21:4, but when the morning was now come, Yahweh Shai stood on the shore, but the disciples knew not that it was Yahweh Shai. Then Yahweh Shai said unto them, children, have you any meat? They answered him, no. And he said unto them, cast the net on the right side of the ship,
So this
and
was
ye shall find.
That's right. This is a man. They didn't know it was Yahweh Shai. The scripture said it was Yahweh Shai, obviously, for the audience. But at that moment, they didn't know it was him.
You know, he was far off.
He was far off.
Man, his voice was deep.
Yeah, many waters.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a very projective voice. You know, and he shouted out to them and let them know. And these are professionals, by the way. Mind you, to keep in mind, because you think about it. You got guys that are in the world of Israel, right? So-called professionals, masters of the law, as you will. IUIC, they teach the law of this, the law of that. And you can't tell these guys nothing. You can't critique them on anything. You know, and these are actual fishers that we're reading about, that are masters at it. Did it since they were young men. And they were still able to take criticism and advice from an individual that was afar off in their mind. And they did it. You know, it just goes to show you the level of humility that our ancient forefathers had versus a lot of guys that think that they have it right now. You know, that's the reflection of it. If you read between the lines, as you will.
Right.
That account shows you humility. You know, these guys are professionals. They could have easily been like, man, keep this right here, man. We already had it on the right-hand side. We've been out here all night. You don't think they switched both sides the hours they was there? They didn't went to the front, the side, the back. You know, they probably didn't, you know, had Jake hanging with the net real deep up in there. You know, they probably tried it 3 times. But, go ahead.
That's the build up of showing of faith, though.
That's right.
All right. It says, John 21:6, and he said unto them, cast the net on the right side of the ship, and ye shall find.
There you go. And they listen. You got it.
They cast therefore, and now they were, Salaki, they cast therefore, and now they were not able to draw it for the multitude of the fishes.
Yeah, there you go. So they took advice from this stranger and was able to carry so many fish that they couldn't even draw it.
You got to pull it up.
Mm-hmm. You got it.
Verse 7, it says, therefore, that disciple whom Yahweh Shai loved said unto Peter, and who is that?
Yeah, the head of the church,
yeah.
King David.
Well, yeah. It says, therefore, that disciple whom Yahweh Shah
Oh,
loved,
you talking about that one? I'm
John.
sorry, that's John.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I
I
thought
was
you
just,
were talking
just
about
doing a
yeah.
quiz in the spirit, as you're doing it.
So like I didn't hear what you said. I thought you read over the Peter account.
John 21:7 says, therefore, that disciple whom Yahweh Shah loved
That's right.
said unto Peter.
That's Saint John. And also too, if I may, when you read the book of John, it makes reference plenty of times of John, and it just shows you John's character,
Right.
and that he didn't like to be in the midst,
Right.
because he never spoke about it. He never wrote about himself.
Right.
But this is his letter.
That's right.
You know, so like I knew
Right.
the answer to that, but I was reading the precept,
Yup.
so
it
you got
says,
it.
it is the Lord. Now when Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, he girt his fisher's coat unto him, for he was naked, and did cast himself into the sea.
Yeah, right. And that don't mean he was butt naked.
Right.
For people that hear that, bro, that goes into his undergarments, man. Like you ain't gonna be able to swim with all your clothes on.
Right, like a swim trunks.
Yeah,
Like, for that time,
exactly.
pretty much.
Yeah, he wasn't out there just, he wasn't out there naked. Just
Apparel fit for the go for a swim.
Exactly.
You know.
Yep, that's right. When you read nakedness in the Bible, sometimes that doesn't mean just you're stripped to nothing.
Right.
That just means that, you know what I'm saying, your undergarments are being revealed.
But to some degree, you are kind of naked. Like if somebody in a swimsuit, especially women,
Right.
you can see like
You
the
can
form
see
of
it.
the body.
Mhm.
So, but
That's where it comes from. It don't
Right.
mean skin. It don't mean ass
ass,
naked.
Like
butt,
this,
ass
yeah.
naked,
Yeah, and also too, just going into that, I want to say if they knew it was Yahweh Shai, they would have never had to cast the net to the right side and draw on all those fish for us to extrapolate the spiritual meaning beside that. They would have just Peter would have just went on, just dove up in there, cast your net to the right side, Lord. You know what I'm saying? So that had to happen that way. That way they took advice, they listened to the Spirit, they didn't know who he was. They took the advice, they drew the fish. That's when it was realized it was Yahweh Shai. That's when they went to him. My sheep hear my voice. They heard the voice, they recognized it and did it before the actual visualization of it. Is the point of why this precept is being brought out. You got it, bro.
John 21:8, and the other disciples came in a little ship, for they were not far from land, but as it were 200 cubits, dragging the net with fishes. As soon then as they were come to land, they saw a fire of coals there, and fish laid there on, and bread.
Now, if I may, like they said, it was 200 cubits. That was pretty far.
Yeah.
A cubit is
A
pretty
cubit
much the
like
size
this.
of a forearm. So
Yeah.
you can say that was pretty much around the distance of a football field. 100 yards. That's 3. It's 3 feet in a yard. So about half of that is about a cubit, you would think. So it's pretty much 100 yards off. So it's hard to spot somebody off that far. You got a referee at the end of the end zone waving their hands. You ain't gonna be able to recognize his face that far. You gonna just know it's the ref. So it's the same concept when it came to Yahweh Shai. They knew it was him by what came out. That's how they recognized him, by the voice. And then what happened afterwards? After they took heed to the voice, they listened and it worked. Oh, it's Yahweh Shai. It makes sense. Click. Bingo.
Because that's showing a faith, it produced.
That's right.
It produced. So
Exactly.
that gotta be Yahweh Shai.
Mhm.
Yep.
That's right.
Say that's like growing in the spirit. You gotta be humble to receive word and wisdom. Like it says in 2 Peter 3, growing in the spirit and brother paraphrasing through Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai.
Mm-hmm.
You have to receive that. If you think you know it all, you got it all, you don't have no room for growth. You already complete. I don't need you.
That's right.
That's why Yahweh Shai said with his, what he called the publican.
Yeah.
He's like, y'all Pharisees, y'all coming at me, but y'all say y'all know it all, so you complete.
They say they hold.
They hold.
They got a hold. They have no need of a position. They want to sit.
Kind of. I'm gonna read this.
Be willing to listen and grow.
That's right. Kind of got a precept real quick. This is in the book of St. John. Just based on what y'all said going into, Yahweh Shai came to those that need help versus those that already knew it all. He didn't come for them.
Right.
And you got a lot of them spirits floating around in the world of Israel right now as we speak that think they just got it. Now, this is the book of St. John chapter 9, and this whole chapter is going into when he healed the man that was blind. And this chapter is based on a council that took place, how the wicked Pharisees and scribes went to his parents, and they were like, was he really blind? And they was scared of the Pharisees because of how over-righteous and zealous they were. They were like, ask him. He was the one that was blind. He a grown man.
Right.
So they went back to him, and he told them, like, look, I get it. Y'all saying he was wicked, this, that, and the third, but I was blind, and now I can see. So, ain't no demon that can do that. So this whole chapter is based on the miracle that took place and how those that thought they knew something couldn't visualize what was really happening, but they thought they knew it already.
Right.
So this is the end of that, the latter end of that council, when the blind man that was healed spoke to Yahushua again. And this is what Yahushua told him. So this is the book of St. John, chapter 9, verse 35. And it says, Yahushua heard they had cast him out, talking about the blind man that the miracle was worked on and he could see. And when he had found him, he said unto him, Doest thou believe on the Son of the Most High? He answered and said, Who is he, Lord, that I might believe on him? And Yahushua said unto him, Thou hast both seen him, and it is he that talketh with thee. Because remember, he was blind. So the first image he's seen in his life is the greatest image that he had ever seen. But he had to hear it first before it actually took place. My sheep hear my voice. So when you continue, it says in verse 38, and he said, Lord, I believe, and he worshipped him. Now, Shaquat, did Yahushua rebuke him after that? That he worshipped him? Nah, because we talked about it before brothers started coming in. How it's absurd that Jake don't want to worship Yahushua, but we get it. And it says in verse 39, and Yahushua said, For judgment I am come into this world, that they would see not might see, and that they would see might be made blind. So he's saying, I came for those that need help. I came for those that need a physician. They're clearly blind, but they need to be able to see.
Yeah.
So he came for those, which goes right back to the guys. I think they got it. They can't take criticism. They can't take rebuke, I'm sorry about that. But it makes sense why they had that spirit. Because they can already see in their eyes.
Yeah.
They already got it. Can't nobody tell them anything. They're professionals in the law.
Like a guy got a gunshot wound, like, hey man, you need to get that treated. And you be like, nah, I got it. You trying to run a marathon, like, nah, bro, you need to get that wound treated. You're gonna gas out eventually, like you don't got it.
That's right.
Like, let me heal you. Like, but them guys, like, nah, I got it. If I could just make an analogy,
God, beautiful analogy. Beautiful analogy, because that's the spirit of Israelites today. Which is why it's gonna come to the point it's gonna be more Jakes, Lord willing, but we believe because the scriptures say it. It's gonna be more Gentiles coming into the fold. More Jakes coming from these so-called churches. More Jakes coming from random walks of life. More Jakes that came from gang banging and stuff like that. They're gonna come into the fold eventually, bro. Now a lot of Jake obviously we know are gonna die, but Yahushua came for those that didn't have it. And you're gonna the contract. That's right. The sacrifices that are acceptable. Go ahead, Zaquan.
Nah, just that are what godly sorrow works with repentance. Those that are really sorrowful about things they did, once they learn of Yahushua, they're gonna put those things away. Even if they was pimping or scamming or whatever they was doing, you out there gang banging. Those are the ones who Yahushua is drawn to. Those who basically acknowledge their offense, basically, and seek the Lord.
Right.
Not to know it all. I got it. I'm already like the damn Christian. I'm already saved.
That's it. Solid point. Solid point.
That's why the Lord didn't go to them. Like, none of us knew the truth. So when the Lord spoke, he knew we had a contrite spirit in us. That's why he resonated with us and the words clicking with us.
Yeah.
You see?
The spirit is a lot of the stuff we said before brothers came in. Like,
word?
Conversation.
Damn, come, you got
The
it.
spirit moving, man.
Yeah,
The spirit,
come.
man. Kind of got me smiling ear to ear right now.
Good. Man.
But I'm going to finish this precept up and like a Mafia got one too, and we can get, But this is back in St. John chapter 9, verse 40. And some of the Pharisees which were with him heard these words and said unto him, Are we blind also? And Yahushua said unto them, If ye were blind, ye should have no sin. But now ye say, We see. Therefore your sin remaineth. So that's why a lot of Jake can't take criticism. They when we get on guys, they're not getting it because, hey, they're already perfect in their own eyes.
Right.
They can't be criticized, especially by these people. These bums? Absolutely not. But that's going to lead them to their condemnation. Because Yahushua even said it in verse 39, For judgment I am coming to the world. Even when Yahushua was born, when Simeon, who was the old man, he told Mary, and he told, starting with Joseph and Mary, which pretty much signified what his spirit was going to bring, he pretty much said the same exact thing. Hey, for judgment and for rebuke and reproof, he's came into the world. So it's a reason why you got Israelites that know that they're Israelites in the spirit that they're in right now. Is because it's clearly set for them to be judged. They got to be judged too. A lot of guys think because you're an Israelite, you right. A lot of guys think because you know that another man's an Israelite, you should be breaking bread and preaching with him. No, that's the start of it. But you got to elevate and understand Yahweh Shai after that.
I think just because
You
they
know?
wear fringes everywhere that they justify, man.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, they can see in their eyes. I don't need no help. I can see.
Right.
You niggas can't tell us nothing.
So that
You
means
know?
since they got the law, they go boasting themselves saying, I did it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why the Lord made it the way he did
Yeah.
it. No, you got
Yeah.
you gotta have faith in me.
That's
You
right.
gotta give me the glory, give me the grace. You know what I mean?
That's right,
Yeah.
Elder. Because you got guys that boast in the law right now, and it's clear as day that the law can't. The law is not going to literally save you. Like the law is here for us as we're under grace to recognize Yahweh Shai even more
Yep.
and appreciate Yahweh Shai even more, knowing that we cannot keep this law, which is spiritual. That just goes to show us that our righteousness can't do it. It ain't of our own spirituality that does this.
Right.
It's Yahweh Shai. That's why He is our righteousness. Our bodies are not ourselves. The spirit that's within this whack,
Boy.
wretched piece of shit that we're wrapped in, it's Yahweh Shai's spirit that makes us righteous. The Holy Spirit. That's it. You got guys that boast in the flesh and the outward. That's not going to get you to make it. That was it on that precept. I feel like he was holding something, or
Oh yeah, I just thought about the precept, how the blind lead the blind. I thought it was Luke 6, 19, Luke 2. Real pepper, like I say, when you have blind leaders that believe in everything, they got it all in check.
Mm-hmm.
If you have someone following them, they don't really have no direction. You need the Lord to guide you. You gotta have that faith. And if you following someone that think he know it all and he don't need anyone to assist with them, you're gonna you both gonna fall into a ditch. This is Matthew 15 and 13. It says, Yahweh shall reply I'm reading KJV, but he answered and said, every plant which my heavenly Father has not planted shall not be rooted up. All right? Because, like you said, we got to be rooted and built up in Yahweh Shai, what it says in Colossians 2, around the 5th, 6th verse. It says, let them alone, they be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into a ditch. So you actually got to watch who you follow, all right, and who you listening to. Because this person you listening to may not be, receiving the right message. They're not probably open to hear and be humble to have their path directed.
That's right. That's right. Solid point. And you even just think about it, which we're all, dignitaries in the Dallas camp that's sitting within this room, which means that we've had experience coaching and pouring into younger individuals.
Right.
So all of us can agree that you would rather pour into the one that's more open to hear you versus the one that already thinks that they got it. Uncoachable guys. Nobody wants to pour into anybody like that. For people that think they already got it and got all the this, that, and the third, no. You would rather pour into somebody that's like, hey, what about this or what about that? Eyes all big, looking at you, just wanting to learn.
Right.
You more into pouring into somebody like that. Not saying that the one that, you know what I'm saying, because you got guys that just come in and they just spring up so they know stuff. Right. But then when they get to the point, or if they get to the point, I'd rather say, when they become like a know-it-all, it's like, man, I'd rather just deal with this person.
So far, unless they learn
Right.
to be coachable at some point.
You got to become coachable.
Right.
And those wicked scribes and Pharisees could not be coachable. All these other groups that are out here, I got you. All these other groups that are out here cannot be coachable. Because they cannot take constructive criticism, but they want to criticize everybody else. You got to be spiritual in order to criticize anybody else through the Spirit. What does 1 Corinthians 2 say? It says, loosely paraphrasing, it's the Spirit of the Most High that judges. Through the Spirit we judge, but we cannot be judged of no man. Through the Spirit we judge all things. And you got guys that are not spiritual, but they put themselves in the position as judges. Just as these guys that we're talking about, which is why they cannot visualize and hear what's coming out. They can't be corrected.
Right.
You got it, priest.
Yeah, so when it comes to winning on like a big stage, we're all going to be put it through the test, the biggest test. When you got a group of guys on the team that they look back at their resume, I did this, I did that, and they can't be coached like you said. You can't win with those guys because in those moments, the only way you win against a formidable opponent is you're able to make adjustments on the fly. If a guy can't receive adjustments and take criticism and change on the fly and on the go, you can't win with
Right.
it. You're gonna hit a wall with a group of guys like that.
Right. Solid.
And that's a lot of people who wear fringes. They feel like, man, I got it. I done
Yeah.
did this, and they look back. Look at my resume. You know who I am, nigga. They get in that spirit, and you can't win at the end of the day with a nigga like
Basically, the word, there's no buy-in to Yahweh Shai.
That's right.
You have to buy in. Like
Yeah.
under a new coach, a new system.
Yep.
That's how you really reach your maximal potential.
Potentially.
You got to be completely bought in. And in the spiritual realm of things, that's Yahweh Shai. We got to be completely bought into Yahweh Shai.
Yeah.
That's how we grow in the spirit thereby and go from glory to glory.
That trust in him.
Right.
I had a precept if I
Go
may.
ahead.
It's Ephesians 2
Yeah, I
and
get what's
8.
coming out. Yeah.
And I want to read it in the NLT. It says, God saved you by his grace when you believed. And you can't take credit for this. It is a gift from God. Salvation is not a reward for the good things we have done. So none of us can boast about it. For we are God's masterpiece, and he has created in us anew in Yahweh Shai Mashiach, so we can do good things he planned for us long ago. And this is the point I want in verse 11. It says, don't forget that you Gentiles used to be called outsiders. You were called uncircumcised heathens by Jews, and I would liken this to this time,
Right.
to people that know they're Israelites, right? You were called uncircumcised heathens by Jews who were proud of their circumcision, even though it affected only their bodies and not their hearts. It didn't change the inward man. It was just the outward man that's changed.
That's right. If your inward man was changed, you'd be able to take the criticism through the Holy Spirit. Because you would realize that it's not these men in the outward flesh that's criticizing you, but it's the Holy Spirit. And it's the law that justifies it, because we do nothing but go right back to the scriptures, resort back to the scriptures.
Recognize you don't got it.
That's it. And and that's why this John 21 that we're reading is so heavy. Because, it didn't make mention of all the disciples. You had 11 current disciples at this time, but it only made mention of 7 of them who were skilled fishermen.
Right.
Professional fishermen. And these professionals took criticism from somebody that was afar off, that wasn't there all night with them toiling physically, wasn't there all night when they changed the net from this side to that side. They changed from that side to this side.
Some dozed
They
off.
rolled over here. Some dozed off. Some
Stayed
didn't.
up. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if they were, if they had the mindset that a lot of guys that are out here, they would have been like, we already did that. Man, we put the net on the right side hours ago. It didn't work. And it's easy to get into that mindset, even for brothers that believe.
Bro.
It's easy for that to happen. It's
sir.
easy. That's why you have to be in the spirit. It ain't that you wicked because you like, man, I tried it, it didn't work. No, man, but you gotta listen.
Yeah.
It didn't work that time. Now do it. Just listen to the spirit. Yahweh Shai speaks to every one brother. Speaks to every brother. This brother Shaquat and myself, before brothers got here, we had a beautiful conversation. Past hour before brothers got here. Just going into Yahweh Shai is duplicated in all of us. Yahweh Shai, every gift that we all have individually, Yahweh Shai had it. Which makes him, on top of many other reasons why he's greater than us, because he had it all. We have parts of what he has, which makes us part of his body. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. But yeah, that's why this John 21 is very heavy, just going into it, because these guys were professionals.
Right.
Fishers, they could have easily said, we already did it, man. But they took heed and they heard his voice, and it worked. So that's what Yahweh Shai wants. Obviously, you got to be an Israelite. That's that, and we can bring up we're gonna bring up precepts on that too, Lord willing. But still, you got to be in the spirit of an Israelite to be an actual Israelite. You can't just be an Israelite in the flesh and believe you're gonna be delivered, but you got to do what an actual Israelite is supposed to be doing.
Based on the example that Yahweh Shai set.
That's right.
Following the land whithersoever he goeth. They heard the voice, and what did they do immediately after? They followed what? Instruction. Jake don't want to follow Yahweh Shai's instruction. They feel like they have like a gateway straight to the Most High. Like the Most High is just dealing with them like directly. Like a lot of these guys be in the spirit,
That's right. I got a precept real quick. This is Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 15. And this is a prophecy in the Old Testament pertaining to Yahweh Shai. And it says, Yahweh thy power will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, an Israelite, of thy brethren, like unto me. In him shall ye hearken. Now this is Moses speaking. So this is a prophet likened unto Moses. And it says, him shall ye hearken. All right. So it didn't just say see, but you was going to have to hear what he was saying. You know, my sheep hear my voice. It says, according to all that thou desires of Yahweh thy power in Horeb, in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of Yahweh my God, neither let me see this great fire any more, that I die not. Because Yahweh Shai, he was the angel that was there. So he presented that power to them, and it was too much for them. You know? So it says, and Yahweh said unto me, they have spoken well, that which they have spoken. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and I will put my words in his mouth. He shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. So which is going to show you that they were going to have to hear the voice of Yahweh Shai. And we're going into these accounts. John chapter 21, a key example of my sheep hear my voice. All right? Because that's what we're talking about within this lesson. My sheep hear my voice. Okay? So, we can go back and proceed to where we left off unless anybody else has anything.
Okay, kind of. Good. Okay. All right. So this is back in St. John chapter 21, and I'll start at verse 12. It says, Yahweh Shah saith unto them, come and dine. And none of the disciples durst ask him, who art thou?
That's the key. They didn't have to ask the question. They knew it based off of what happened.
Right.
Hearing the voice. They didn't have to ask the question, who are you?
It says, and none of the disciples durst ask him, who art thou? Knowing that it was the Lord.
Why? Because they heard his voice. Cast the net into the right side. They did it. The miracle happened. The apostle immediately dove into the water. That was a long little swim.
Yeah.
100 and some change yards. It's a nice little swim right there. You can't even sprint that. Most people can't sprint that in 10, 11 seconds. You know what I'm saying? So imagine swimming it.
Is that like a contrast of him being skeptical about stepping on the water beforehand?
I know, right? Beautiful
Yeah,
point.
I would think about that. That's what that made me think.
Yeah,
of.
it is a contrast to that.
This time he was like, I know who that is. I know that voice.
That's right.
He jumped in the water. It wasn't
Yeah.
like, are you
Yeah,
sure?
it is.
Should I
You
be
wasn't
out here?
skeptical. Yeah.
Yeah, it was no doubt in his
Yeah.
mind.
It's
And
the
that-
same place too.
Yeah.
The
Same
Sea
place.
of Galilee.
Like
Yeah.
the
The Sea of
That's
Galilee.
beautiful.
It was a Sea of Galilee.
Same place.
And it just goes to show you the mind that
Scared
those
he
ancient
jumped all
apostles
in.
had. It goes to show you the mind that those ancient men had, man, because they didn't hesitate, bro. When Yahweh Shai even first came to them as Yahweh Shai, when he first came to Peter and Andrew, and then came to James and John, when you read those examples, they immediately followed him.
Yeah, they left the
They
fishing
dropped it,
equipment
the-
behind, the nets.
Pops was on the boat one. Oh my
They
God,
left that shit
hey.
behind.
They immediately, just went and did it. So they didn't hesitate.
Right.
They just knew what it was, and that just goes to show you faith.
Yeah.
Because if you hesitate, that shows a lack of faith. And it just goes to show you why Yahweh Shai chose those men. Not just why, but and I'd rather say an accolade that they had, which makes sense why Yahweh Shai chose them. They didn't hesitate, they just did it. The Apostle Peter, you brought the example. Even when he got off the boat, when Yahweh Shai was walking on the water, he didn't hesitate. He went on there and started walking on the water. And it took to that lightning and the thunder and the boisterous winds and the waves came where he doubted. But those guys immediately was with the smoke in righteousness. Like, he was like, what's up?
That's an example
know?
for us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The
Mhm.
examples of who those that Yahweh Shah chose, the attributes that they would exhibit.
Right. Exactly.
So yeah.
Beautiful points.
All right, so I want to go back.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is St. John 21 and 13. It says, Yahweh Shah then cometh and taketh bread and giveth them, and fish likewise. This is now the third time that Yahweh Shah showed himself to his disciples after that he was risen from the dead.
Mm-hmm.
So when they had dined, Yahweh Shah said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these?
And that's pretty much
Okay,
that's
yeah,
pretty much
that's
the
all
point
right.
going into that. Yahweh Shai continues to ask the question to the apostle who was the head of the church, pretty much signifying his faith, solidifying it. But the point going into that account is that they heard the voice and they acted. And before you came in, Elder Yatazak, we just talked about pretty much like these were professional fishers.
Yeah.
If they were anything like guys that are out here today, they would have took that criticism from somebody afar off.
Yeah.
We already put it on the right side. We did this, that, and the third.
Right.
They took the heat and it worked. So it just goes to show you the humility that they had. These were professional fishers, bro. They was kids.
Like the fishermen to be in the coast of Maine,
Mm-hmm.
go out in the middle of the ocean to bring
Bruh.
back Can't
ice
tell 'em.
fishing.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Ice fishermen, man, they don't, yeah.
Yeah, man. You know, and fishermen are like very manly men. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember Elder Yashawama did a lesson on this years ago talking about that. Like, fishermen are very manly men.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to masculinity, a lot of that is like that competitive nature of, I got it. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that they were manly men, on top of that, they completely took advice from a stranger when they were professionals, showed you that humility that they had was like astronomical.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're reflecting on this lesson. Because again, they heard the voice. It was already written by the Heavenly Father for that to happen. You know, and like you said, bro, we're following that stead.
Yeah.
You know, it applies to us here in these last days too, man. Which is why a lot of guys can't get it. They can't get it because they're not programmed to get it. They don't belong to Yahweh Shai. He's not their shepherd. So they're not going to hear his voice.
Right.
You know?
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, man. And for us in our time, you got to be crazy as a man to sit here
You got to
and
be
think,
crazy.
America's, you know, they're going to deem us as enemies of the state. And I ain't even worried about it because the Lord going to have us. He's going to deliver us out of all of this. America's going down. These countries, to really believe that and walk in it, you have to have astronomical faith.
Yeah, another level.
Yeah, logically
It's
speaking.
got to be a gift that's given to you
Yeah.
that you don't neglect.
Yes.
That's 2 precepts right there.
That you nurture it. Yeah.
I would say Ephesians 2, faith is a gift.
You just read
And then what's that? Neglect not the gift that is within thee.
Read it again.
You know?
Done.
That was
That
it.
was the point.
Cool. Okay. Well, hey, go ahead, Mafia. And then we can go to that account, the other account that with Cleophas.
I'm going to, like you were mentioning about hearing his voice. I'm going to the the Good Shepherd. It's John 10. I started verse 2.
Start at the top. Just might as well. Yeah.
It says, "Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber."
It's only one way. It's only one way, man. You know, and back in the ancient world, like, you know, one thing about these, these gospels that we read, and just generally what's dope about the Bible, especially what's even dope about the King James Version, is the phrasing does help you relate to the actual experiences certain professions went through. Now, these other versions, they'll give you a direct stance on what's being said, and it's great to break down. But that's why I do like the KJV so much, because of the poetic nature that's behind it. And the only way to really grasp it and get it from that is to actually do it. You know, now, of course, you can watch videos and everything, and you get the idea, you know, but when you do it, it's dope, which is why a lot of brothers, especially these country cats, you know, we got one reading right now, it's a precept, man. You know, they were relating to some of these precepts that we were talking about because they went through that toiling. You know, so Yahweh Shai is using an example of a shepherd and somebody that's in hireling in this account. Because the shepherd is actually going to take care of the flock. The flock knows the shepherd's voice. But then you have a hireling that's job is just to get paid by temporarily looking over the sheep. But if something was to get bad, they would look, you know, they would completely dip out because they're not their sheep anyway. And one crazy thing about that too, which is beautiful by Yahweh Shai uses illustration, because even according to the law, which a lot of these guys are supposed to be masters of the law.
Yeah, right.
Right. Even according to the law, even if you are looking after your neighbor's sheep, let's say you're a hireling, if that sheep go missing, that's your sheep at that time, and you gotta go out of your way and get it. So this hireling ain't even keeping the law he's supposed to keep.
Right.
Ain't even keeping it he's supposed to keep. And these guys are so hell-bent on the law. This, that, and the third, which the law is beautiful, you know, but you're not able to keep it. But you're over-analyzing it and not able to keep it. Yahweh Shai cut them in their own law so many times that they didn't even know. You know, but I wanted to use that law as an example to cut that, because the hireling is an Israelite.
Right.
But according to the law, if the sheep goes missing, you're supposed to find it. But this hireling didn't, because he was nothing but a hireling that wasn't really keeping the law. You got it out.
Yeah, because the hireling, if he on your watch, you still got, like you said, you still got a duty.
Yeah. According to the law.
Right.
According to the law of Moses.
Hell bent. Hell bent.
Hell bent.
On the law.
Hell. Yeah.
Right? The law brings peace. The law brings life. If you hell bent on the law, that means you're doing it backwards.
Yeah, right. They're hell bent on it.
Man, that just hit me right there when you were saying, I was like, if you hell bent on the law, you probably lose it.
From the womb to the tomb. From the womb to the tomb.
From the garden to now, when have we won with the law?
Yeah.
We haven't been just 100% faithful with the law. We always have committed
Yeah.
law.
And this is no knock in the law by any means, because the law is spiritual.
Yes.
The Lord gave Moses the law on Mount Sinai. It was delivered to him by Yahushua personally
From the heavens.
from the heavens. But you got Jake boasting in something that they can't keep. That's the problem. You know? Con, you got it. That's the problem. And the fact that we're under grace and you got guys that are still saying you're under the law, cool, that's fine. Well, hey, that means that you can see. You can see, you can hear, you're blameless, you can't be touched. So I hate to have that mindset when Yahushua comes.
Right.
Yeah, it's 4 verses. I'm gonna read quickly though.
Come.
This is Galatians 3:22. It says, "But the scripture hath concluded all are under sin, transgression of the law. Y'all break the law. That the promise by faith of Yahushua might be given to them that believe." So the promise is gonna be through faith. Read Romans 4. Abraham received the promise of circumcision while he was yet uncircumcised. All right. It says. Galatians 3:23. "But before faith came, we were kept under the law, shut up unto the faith which should afterwards be revealed," which is Yahushua. Ultimately, verse 24. "Wherefore the law was our schoolmaster to bring us unto Hamashiach Yahushua, that we might be justified by faith." So, like backing up the priest, the law is good in and of itself. You know, if it's kept perfectly, the law is good.
Man,
the
the law's
scripture
great.
says somewhere. The law is good as long as you keep it. I'm loosely
Romans.
paraphrasing. But that's our schoolmaster. That was basically just to give us a guide
Yeah.
until Yahushua will come forth.
Mhm.
All right? It says, "But after that faith is come, we are no longer under a schoolmaster."
It's kind of like in a sense, if I may. You know, we're in 2024, right? Back in the 50s and the 60s, you had instruction manuals and you could read certain things to build. And it worked and it was cool. You know, or like, let's say, for example, the basketball professionally, you had the fundamentals and it was cool. You know, you can relate to it, you get it. And now in 2024, these niggas jumping out the gym because they got all the footage, all the stuff everywhere, things you can visualize. That's what Yahushua was compared to the actual Mosaic law. Then he was the actual embodiment of how it's supposed to be done.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That's what that was. But you know, back it held us over.
It's
for
like
the
a template,
time.
pretty much.
Yeah,
You know? It's just a
Mhm.
template.
that's right. Because it was never kept perfectly.
Exactly.
It was given to us to keep, but
Right.
it was never kept personally. So Yahushua showed us how to do it. You know what I'm saying? Basketball existed when it came out, but the actual dynamics of that sport, you know, and the dopeness of it didn't really get seen, the abilities of it until like MJ and Kobe and them came in the
Nah,
90s and the early 2000s.
80s, but
Yeah, Dr.
Yeah,
J.
80s.
Dr. J.
Makes
yeah,
sense.
from
Okay,
Dr.
I forgot we got some old school cats in here, man.
No, I'm saying the objective from the time when Dr. J hit the scene.
He was jumping out the gym.
literally,
Yeah,
a couple years before that, everything was in black and white, and Duncan was not allowed.
absolutely, solid point.
So that transition to what we
Absolutely.
see today, you like, damn.
Yeah,
You know
straight
what I'm
up.
saying? But it's the same game.
So like I was talking,
Hey,
you know,
because Mike
I was
grew up
talking
watching
about
them
this
cats. Until Mike seen them on TV. They were like,
Yeah.
damn. You know what I'm saying?
God,
I
look
looked
this
up
up.
Dr. J. Yeah,
You could take a role player out of this time era, and if you
Mhm.
put them back in the 60s,
They
they
would
would look
dominate.
like the greatest thing
They're
ever.
gonna dominate. Yeah.
But here in our time, it's like, oh, it's just another,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
you know.
right. That's right.
So Yahushua, he was just like, dude, y'all don't even understand. Y'all, we supposed to walk in the.
This
They
is
was
it.
looking at it
Yeah.
in 2D, and Yahushua was 3D.
Yeah, he's like,
You know?
this is the law.
Yeah.
He's like, this is the law right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, hello. You know?
like basically.
So
maybe
Yahushua was the first person to take off from the free throw line, huh?
That's what Jake will get out of it.
Yeah.
The gaslight, you know what I'm saying? Disingenuous. But my sheep hear my voice. That's why they react that way, because they don't hear the voice.
somebody that know how to read music
Yeah.
versus someone who's just doing a song just improv. What's the word?
Improv.
Improvisational.
Yeah.
You know, they're just doing it, but they may not. They're not reading the actual notes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
They
saying?
can
Or
just
playing
hop
the
in
piano without like reading.
You should know the
They're just playing the piano perfectly
By ear.
by ear. Yup.
Somebody that can just play, but that makes sense.
Right.
And they just hop in and flow with the group.
Yup.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, they have a pulse on the room. This is how I should move. This is what I should do. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe not right now.
Right.
Right.
It's not off, but probably shouldn't do it right now. It's not the right time for that. Having a pulse on things, that's walking in the spirit.
That's right. That's right. And those are those that are natural to it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you just do it, It's natural to that person. People like that, they be like, yeah, they were created to do that shit.
Like a recipe
You know what I'm
versus
saying?
someone who could just go in there and cook.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
You know,
That's like that term they say, oh, you're a natural.
Yep.
It just comes to you.
Yeah, it just
You know
comes to
what I'm
you.
saying? That's the way the law, statutes, and commandments. When the Lord breathed on Adam, it was just a way of life. He just walked that way.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So when you have the disconnect between now and then, you know, it went from walking that way to needing fringes and needing to see a sign and needing all these things. You know, I won't say the Lord was the law walking right in front of you,
Right
walking.
in front of you.
But you need fringes and you still going off.
You need a fringe? You had a whole being
You
right
got
there.
phylacteries, you got pharynges, phylacteries, and you still going off.
You got front, you got everything. All
You got you done went above and beyond to give the outward look, but you got this man that's just it right here telling you what to do.
That's it.
And you still like, no, fuck that.
Right.
It's Jake, bro.
Right.
And that's the same spirits in John 1:11, when the Lord came to him, he was in the physical, and they still rejected him.
They rejected
So how
him.
much more now when they don't see him?
Right, straight up,
That's
man.
That's them same spirits back, man.
That's why it's like it's dope, especially here at the end of the world. And the scriptures say, "Greater is the end of a thing than the beginning." And not by any means am I not saying we're greater than our forefathers, but I'm going into the time period that we're in, the lack of faith that we're here, because 2 Ezra 5 does validate how weak people will be in the end, especially pertaining to faith. And the fact that we were able to just hear it. Matter of fact, if somebody can pull that up really quick in 2 Ezra chapter 1, start at verse 35 up at Shaw, just to read that, what I'm trying to express and saying. Because we had to just hear it. You know, it wasn't nothing that we just seen to just say, I mean, I'm a his. No, we had to hear it. And it made sense. And then the Lord started rewarding, you know, showing us things here and there. But we didn't have to see nothing first in order to believe. We heard it,
Yes.
according to the prophecies.
I got a real quick one. Now here's what they're hearing. Now here's what this hearing does to you.
Come on.
This is Psalms 107:20. He sent his word and healed them, and delivered them from their destruction. So so now Yahweh comes in the volume of the book. So now when you hear the word heals you
Right.
to the point now you're able to. Oh, okay, you healed now. Because
Just by
Titus
hearing.
3, just by hearing. Because it said what faith comes by hearing.
That's right. It don't come by seeing, it comes by hearing.
Exactly.
And the Lord will reward you. The Lord has rewarded me according to my righteousness, which is faith. When you read that in 2 Samuel chapter 22. You know, so the Lord will reward you just based on your faith. And hey, I'm going to say this. A lot of times the Lord rewards you when you ain't even looking for it. You know, we've all experienced that. I was talking to a beloved brother yesterday. You know what I'm saying? You know, Elder Zakar. If you're listening, brother. You know what I'm saying? You know, conversation that we had yesterday going into that. You know, you got guys that are out here that if they would have seen the chariots and the stuff that brother's seeing, they would have, other camps, they would have made gimmicks out of it, merchandise out of it. They would have sold the videos and such like that. You know, we didn't say sold the, you know, the conversation. I'm saying that now. You know what I'm saying? But still, Jake would have promoted it like crazy. If they would have seen the stuff that certain brothers be bearing witness to sometimes, bro. Any of these
they'll
other
sell it.
groups, you know, they're about gimmicks. The outward look. So if they was really seeing this stuff and really experiencing these spiritual occurrences, they would have been the first ones to record and promote. You know, it just goes to show you the Lord is not dealing with them on that level to reveal himself to them. You know? And the reason why the Lord has revealed himself to brothers is because brothers have received it by hearing of the word. You know what I'm saying? Shoot. These men that we're reading about heard it. John chapter 21, we just read it. They heard it. And then they spoke with them afterwards. And that's when they realized it was him. They heard it first. You know? Crazy, man. But it's how the Lord wanted it. You know? But yeah, I was holding some of the spirit past.
Yeah, you want a second?
Second Ezra.
Yeah, let's get that, please.
I started at 31.
Did you see how I read in the GNT somebody? Because it's dope here too. But Second Ezra's 1 and 35.
Let's read in the GNT.
Okay.
Yeah, let's start at verse 31 of the GNT.
Okay.
Hey, brothers read it through, so you know. Because
Yeah, well,
sometimes
we
the
gotta
stuff be
pull.
going off sometimes, but you gotta
You
pick the bones
gotta
out.
pick the meat. Yeah.
You know.
You see, we just started using other versions till we had an understanding in the King
That's
James.
right. That's
The
right.
Understanding in the King
Got
James.
King
came
James first, baby.
Mhm.
See? And that's by going into the Greek and the Hebrew
That's
and
right.
the Latin and all that. So now when you come with another version, you can be like, oh, no, that's not it. You can tell.
You
know
can
what
tell.
I'm saying?
Yeah, you can
takes,
feel it.
it takes season.
Yep. Yeah, whoever got it. Yeah, we can start at verse 31. I know the brother said 31, so we just start off on that through the spirit, you know.
Second Ezra chapter 1 and verse 31 in the GNT, it says, and even when you offer sacrifices to me, I will turn away from you.
Because that's what happened with Jake. You know, and even when you read the book of Hebrews, Jake resorted back to offering sacrifice when the Apostle Paul sent that letter to them to reaffirm what Yahweh Shai's coming represented. You know, you got it. Because the Lord said in sacrifice and burnt offering, loosely paraphrasing in Psalms, shoot, this ain't righteous to me.
Right.
I prefer your body being a sacrifice, you being broken. You got it.
It says, your religious festivals, your new moon celebrations, and your circumcision ceremonies mean nothing to me.
And this really just reflects on the spirit of jovialness. We talked about it at camp yesterday, the afternoon camp. These guys are in. You know, better it is to go into the house of mourning than the house of feasting. You know, you got a lot of these guys, it's an Israelite party. The Lord is not pleased with the Israelite party. He don't want no Israelite party. When Moses came down from Mount Sinai, he saw an Israelite party and broke them tables of stone, bro. An Israelite party is what's happening in Matthew 24, bro. Which Yahweh Shai said it was in the days of Moses. I'm sorry, Noah.
Jake been partying since then until now.
You
Like,
ain't
nigga
tired,
tired
nigga?
and shit?
Like, damn, we did. We like to have a good time.
5,000 years on the bitch. Yeah, man. Man.
We like to have a good time, but
bro.
this ain't the time just to promote it like that, man. Do that shit on your
I'll even
own.
say this. After you done partying, when the party is over, what do you want to do? You
Yeah.
want to go home.
Yeah, right.
Don't
Eventually.
you want to go home?
5,000 years.
Yeah,
That's Jake. 5,000 years. Nigga, it ain't stopped yet. Nigga, trying to go home.
It was raining outside. It was still playing a little when it was raining.
Yeah,
and then
you
that's
did.
when they realized it was too late when they couldn't even fucking. It was raining and shit. Yeah, it rained on the parades.
7,000 years later.
Yeah, right.
No, nigga.
Hey, flood behavior. Straight up flood behavior, man. You got it, bro.
All right, back in 2nd Ezra chapter 1 and verse 32 in the GNT, I said to you, my servants, the prophets, but you killed them and mutilated their corpses. I will make you pay for murdering them.
Yeah, hey, and the scriptures say, matter of fact, really quick before you continue, I'm gonna read this precept. Read this precept real quick.
No. Read it real slow.
I know, right? My bad. Because the scriptures say, beware of the concision. I'm spelling it wrong, but it's in Philippians. It's all good, man. You know, but beware of the concision. When you go into that word concision in the scriptures, that's talking about the wicked scribes and Pharisees. But that word concision means to mutilate, pertaining to the flesh. You know, and the scriptures condemns the circumcision a lot in the New Testament. Not that it's condemning the world of Israel, because a lot of so-called Christians will say, no, that's the Old Testament. But that is going into how they're doing it. The Lord, obviously the law says to circumcise, but it's talking about up here in the spirit, the mind. But you have individuals mutilizing, the thought process of other Israelites. You know, proselytes, pretty much, children of hell, as the scriptures say. Not proselytes, but the children of hell. That's what they're creating. You know, so as the brother's reading the precept, going into the mutilation of it, that applies to Israel. Read that again, Baba Kishore, bro.
First, 2nd Ezra chapter 1 and verse 32 in the GNT. I sent unto you my servants, the prophets, but you killed them and mutilated their corpses.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you mutilated their corpses. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. But still, you got guys that have mutilated this doctrine.
Yeah.
You know, you got it.
It says, I will make you pay for murdering them.
You mutilated everything they've done, everything they've said, everything they stood for. You know, go ahead.
Verse 33, the Lord Almighty says, your temple is abandoned. I will scatter you like straw blown away by the wind.
Which is exactly what happened. But you got Jake that still look at those temple ordinances like it's going to make them righteous. Fringes, Ak. Where's your fringes, Ak? And when I say temple ordinance, let me elaborate. Because you got a simple nigga that'll get up in here and say, the fringes on the temple ordinance. What are you talking about? I'm talking about pertaining to the flesh, bro. You know what I'm saying? An ordinance pertaining to the flesh. Outside ordinances that you're not able to keep. Go ahead.
It says, verse 34, your children will have no descendants because they rejected my commandments and did what I hated, just as you did.
Crucify him. Let his blood be upon us and our children. That curse still stands. Free Barabbas spirit. And it's here today.
Yep.
You got it.
Verse 35, I will give your home to a people that is about to appear. They will believe me even though they have not yet heard of me. They will do what I command even though I never perform any miracle for them.
There you go. So that's the point right there. They didn't have to see anything. We didn't have to see nothing. We were niggas in America, Christianity, you know what I'm saying, pork, chitlins. I didn't eat chitlins, you know what I'm saying, but it kind, yeah. Whoever's quiet ain't chitlins. No, I'm joking. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you ain't gonna eat, boy?
Yeah.
Look, I know you ain't gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Chitlins will banana.
Yeah, but Jake was chitlin eating niggas at a point in time, man. GMO babies. We were GMO babies at a point in time, man. You know? But that's who the Lord is dealing with, right? Not all of them, of course, but Jake was going to come out of that spirit is what we're talking about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We were going to be scattered among GMO babies, you know? But that pretty much predestination, of course, and those that are predestinated are going to hear the voice and change. You know? That's what this verse is saying.
Got some more. Verse 36, it says, they have not seen the prophets, but they will live by their ancient teachings. I will give solemn promise that I will bless those people, and their little children will laugh and shout for joy. Those people have never seen me, but deep within them, they will believe my words.
And it's beautiful sometimes. You even witness that. Like, I know we personally witnessed that, you know, when brothers bring their seeds through for class and whatever, and they salute. You know what I'm saying? You know, they salute their, it's like, man, this is the little bro. You know, like that's kind of happening right now too. You know, like we seeing the little ones even rejoicing with that, but generally we represent those little ones that were excited. Those babes, Yahweh Shai said, out of the mouth of babes will praise be perfected. So we ultimately represent those babes that were coming back. Just like in the wilderness, right? The first generation died off, save a few men, Joshua and Caleb. Second generation made it. We represent that newer generation of Israelites that are coming back to be delivered. You know, Jake couldn't get it back then. Jake is here in the last days, perfecting it through the Holy Spirit and Yahweh Shai. And those are going to be those that inherit the kingdom of heaven. You know, real quick precept, Psalm chapter 24. And I'll jump straight to it. It ain't going to be long. This is the book of Psalms chapter 24, verse 3. And it says, who shall ascend into the hill of the Lord? Who shall stand in his holy place? He that hath clean hands and a pure heart, who hath not lifted up his soul unto vanity, nor sworn deceitfully. He shall receive the blessing from the Lord, and the righteousness from the Most High, his salvation. This is the generation of them that seek him, that seek thy face, O Jacob, Salah. So you have that generation in the end that are seeking the Lord while they're young, seek the Lord while he may be found, and he's revealing his face unto those that are seeking him. Right. And we didn't just have to see it. We heard it, as the scriptures say. You know? Consequence.
This is St. John chapter 20, verse 24. It says, but Thomas, one of the 12, called Didymus, was not with them when Yahweh Shai came. The other disciples therefore said unto him, we have seen the Lord. But he said unto them, except I shall see him, Salakia, except I shall see in his hands the print of the nails, and put my finger into the print of the nails, and thrust my hand into his side, I will not believe. And again, 8 days, and after 8 days, again, his disciples were within, and Thomas with them. Then came Yahweh Shai, the doors being shut, and stood in the midst, and said, peace be unto you. Then said he, Thomas, reach hither thy finger, and behold my hands, and reach hither thy hand, and thrust it into my side, and be not faithless, but believing. And Thomas answered and said unto him, my Lord and my power. Yahweh Shai said unto him, Thomas, because thou hast seen me, thou hast believed. Blessed are they that have not seen and yet have believed. So that's the point at the end. Blessed are those that have not seen and yet believed. You know, just to back up. We just heard the voice, you know.
That's right. Now, does that mean that if you see a chariot or if you bear witness to a miracle that you ain't blessed because somebody that didn't see it believes more? No, it's not what that's saying. Not at all. Those great men that were there saw Yahweh Shai and walked with them and supped with them. It's not what that's going into. That's just going into you having to believe just off of this message's sake. You know?
Fully persuaded.
You got to be fully persuaded. You had Israelites in the days of Moses that believed in the Lord. And they were saved. And then the Lord showed miracles. And even out of that large group, Jake whined away. Even Moses went off a little bit when he took credit when he hit that rock and the water came out.
Must we get water out of this rock?
Yeah, right. You know, so it's easy for any of us to do that. It just goes to show you the importance of mercy and grace as well in these last days. But the word came first, and then the Lord can reveal himself afterwards,
Right.
if he chooses to. And if not, faith is faith.
'Cause
But the Lord is revealing himself, and he says it. He says it. He says that he will perform strange works, wonders, and miracles. You know, hey, he says, loosely paraphrasing, I and the children whom shall come after me shall be for signs and wonders in Israel. So you might not even see things times, but the fact that you're performing his will, you are the work. You are part of that work. So you might not have to visually see something, but people are visually seeing you teach this word. You know, and that's enough for somebody's faith to be edified. You know, you got it right.
just one precept
Come
to
on.
back up what you're saying. This is 2 Corinthians 5:7. It says, "For we walk by faith, not by sight." So that's pretty much clear to the cut. You know, before it actually comes, we already have the ability to believe, which that faith is a gift, like we read in Ephesians, the 2nd chapter.
That's right. That's
You
right.
know, we already can envision the kingdom of heaven being established. We already see ourselves being delivered before it actually physically
Right.
comes. You know,
Right. Solid. Anybody got any precepts they hold? Cool. We can pull that account now with Cleophas. And, you know, we're going to talk about that. We can end it there unless any other precepts come up.
Alright. Anybody got
Yeah,
it?
Somebody held it. It's all good. It's all good.
Because I'm just
Yeah.
following along.
Con. Yeah, it's in Luke 24. Somebody can start around verse 15. Yeah, man. Again, you know, as brothers are looking it up, like, that's why, this lesson is being pushed right now on top of other lessons, obviously, that we do. But it's based upon hearing. And that's why, I want to go into these accounts here within the scriptures, because the scriptures do say, loosely paraphrasing, but all things are written aforetime for our learning. So it's times that you can read about what our ancient forefathers went through, and you can envision it for yourself. And it's helping our faith to build. These are actual accounts where these men were persuaded just based off of what was heard. All right? Things happen off of hearing versus visualizing it first. Okay? So whoever got it can read it.
Luke 24 and 15, it says, "And it came to pass that while they communed together and reasoned, Yahweh
Salakia, start at verse 10.
Come. This is Luke 24 and 10. It says, "It was Mary Magdalene and Joanna and Mary the mother of James and other women that were with him."
Now I believe it was a total between 5 and 7 women. You had the 2 Marys. I'm sorry, it was actually 3 Marys. All right, and then it was Anna that was present and a few other women. They were present when Yahushua resurrected from the dead. When the angel spoke to those women, when the earth shook, those were the women that saw him, which symbolically represented the elect. All right, I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and a delicate woman. So when Yahushua rose from the dead, he revealed himself to certain key spirits. All right, and it was written of within this story for a reason for us to learn from today. On top of everything else that happened that wasn't documented, when you read these scriptures, what was documented was written for us to learn here today. It's written to key in on.
Right.
Okay, you got it.
It says, "Which told these things unto the apostles, and their words seemed to them as idle tales, and they believed them not. Then arose Peter and ran unto the sepulchre, and stooped down, and behold, the linen cloth."
That's that immediate faith right there. That it was just different, Like, and it wasn't just Peter too. It was also John.
Right.
All right, it was Peter and the disciple whom Yahushua loved. And it was even John that got there first. And as soon as he got to the sepulchre, he didn't walk in. He stood on the side and waited for Peter to enter in. Because order, that's right, because of order's sake. Peter was the head of the church, and it was meant for Peter to see it first.
Next week, Lord willing, I teach. I was gonna go into
That's the spirit.
That was
Come.
one of the precepts.
Hey, that's the spirit. The one of y'all about Shimmy Yahushua. For order's sake. And that's just a mindset, especially to you younger brothers and you sisters that are listening. Just, it helps in the long run, man. Just even the way the Apostle John thought, well, not even just him, but when you read John, it really focuses in on how he thunk, his humility. And I know that book helps me out. But it just narrows in on how this great man was so humble, just on the little things. And those little things add up to a lot because those little things were jotted down. Out of everything that could have been jotted down, those little things were jotted down, man. It helps us in the long run. You got it, bro.
Come. It says, he beheld the linen clothes laid by themselves and departed, wondering in himself at that which was come to pass. And behold, Slaget, two of them went that same day to a village called Emmaus.
Now, real quick, before you continue, if Peter didn't hear what Yahushua was saying, he wouldn't have had the thought to run over there and look at the sepulchre. Because remember, when you read those Gospels, before he died and rose up, he clued to them plenty of times that he was going to get put to death. You know what I'm saying? You know, he clued to them. And they even wondered to themselves certain of those accounts. But the Spirit was on the Apostle Peter to remember that, what he said, and go there. And if he wouldn't have remembered that in that way, he wouldn't have been one of the first ones to see him risen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if he wouldn't have took heed to what he was saying, that wouldn't have happened, and we wouldn't have what we have here right now. So he took heed to what he was saying. My sheep hear my voice. Not that the other disciples ain't his sheep because they didn't perceive it that way. They knew it too. It just registered with Peter and John first.
Through order.
Through order. That's right. God. You know, you got it, Doc.
Come on, it says, verse 13, Luke 24 and 13, and behold, two of them went that same day to a village called Emmaus, which was from Jerusalem about 60 furlongs.
Mm-hmm.
And
60 furlongs. So that's
Furlongs,
pretty
right.
much, yeah, that's 60 furlongs. The score is 20. You know, so that was 60 furlongs. You got it.
It says they talked together of all these things which had happened. And it came to pass that while they communed together and reasoned, Yahushua drew near and went with them.
And just to put it out there, 60 furlongs is not close.
It said 7 miles in the
Yes,
sea.
I was just about to say that because the Sea of Galilee, we talked about that earlier, that was about 15 furlongs. I'm sorry, not 15 furlongs, 15 miles, which is like 3 to 4 pretty much it was a long way. I'm sorry, I got the dynamics mixed up. But a furlong is not close. 60 furlongs, like he read, is 7 miles. You know what I'm saying? So that was a long voyage, which I write 7 again. It's completion. You know, very spiritual number. But it wasn't no close way that he ran. In the Lake of Galilee, like I just wanted to explain really quick, that was about a 3 to 4 mile distance wide and about an 8 mile distance long. You know, so even when Yahushua was on the water, that was about a few miles into the lake when they seen that. Just to give a furlong, you know what I'm saying? A visual of a furlong. You know, so that just goes to show you again the levels of faith. Right. You know, for something that of just a thought and a wonder. Dang, I do remember him saying that. Let me go on and run 7 miles real quick. You know, to where he was buried at in the sea. That's different faith, bro, because a lot of guys will just be like, man, I'm going to just wait and fall back and see. That was like a nice little way that he went on feet just to see, bro. Like, that just goes to show you these guys' faith was different than what we got today, man. You know, a lot of brothers, a lot of us wouldn't even want to drive that way. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, you know, the Spirit told us we're going to do it because we do it for each other. That's a nice little ways away. How many, a run? That's probably about close to an hour if you moving. So that's like driving from where we at to Sherman, you know, just to see.
It's going to take at least an hour.
It's going to take at least an hour, you know? So that was a nice little ways away. And then we ain't including the breaks he took.
Yep.
You know, because it's gonna take some breaks. They could have ran 7 miles straight. They were different back then, but it's a nice little ways, man. Grown ass men. So it just goes to show you again, narrowing in on that extreme faith that they had.
2.5, 3 hour walk.
Mm-hmm. Just based on something he remembered Yahushua said earlier within the walk. That's all based on word of mouth hearing.
Right.
You know, you got it out.
Come back in Luke 24 and verse 15, it says, and it came to pass that while they communed together and reasoned, Yahushua himself drew near and went with them, but their eyes were holden that they should not know him. And he said unto them, what manner of communication are these that ye have one to another as ye walk and are sad?
Yeah, he's talking, this is Yahushua now speaking to Cleophas and his brother. So this is another account right here, because remember, the Apostle Peter and the Apostle John looked in the sepulchre. Yahushua's body was gone already. He revealed himself to those women. You know what I'm saying? He revealed himself then, but he was gone afterward. So this is the same time that the Apostle Peter and James was looking. Yahushua was already on his journey doing what he had to do. And he came across Cleophas and his brother. Okay, you got it.
Verse 18, it says, and one of them whose name was Cleopas answering said unto him, art thou only a stranger in Jerusalem, and has not known the things which are come to pass there in these days?
Yeah, now mind you, they don't even know they're talking to Yahushua right now. Just as those disciples didn't know it was Yahushua that was on the shore telling them to throw the net on the right side. They didn't know. When Yahushua came to those men sometimes, he came in random ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you got it out.
I'll read that in NLT.
Please.
It says, verse Luke 24 and 18 in NLT, it says, then one of them, Cleopas, it says, replied, you must be the only person in Jerusalem who hasn't heard about all the things that have happened there these last few days. You know, Jake was kind of like, bro, you ain't, come on, bro. You ain't
living under a rock.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Pretty much.
Right.
All right, verse 19, back in the KJV. It says, and he said unto them, what things? And they said unto him, concerning Yahushua of Nazareth, which was a prophet mighty in deed and word before the Most High and all the people.
And to show you how bad Yahushua was in a good way. He already knew what they was talking about.
Right.
But he asked them to tell me what it is. Because you know how it be. When you telling a story and you've seen it, you adamant about it, and you animated with it, it's like, damn, this person was into it. You know what I'm saying? So you're like, what things? And they explain it in detail to him. So you're like, man, all right, cool. You clearly been listening to them scriptures. You clearly believed. You know, certain times you know the answer and just ask somebody to see what they got to say to see if they've been listening. You know what I'm saying? You got it.
Luke 24 and 20, it says, and how the chief priests and our rulers delivered him to be condemned to death and have crucified him. But we trusted that it had been he which should have redeemed Israel. And besides all this, today is the third day since these things were done.
Now, mind you, also too, I'm gonna say this. Now it's not documented within the Gospels, but the Apostle Paul says it when you read 1 Corinthians 15 that Yahushua came to 500 brothers after he rose from the dead, even all at once. You know, so he came to a lot of cats that we don't even know about yet. I can't wait to find that out in the kingdom, how it happens. But these are all people that just believed on him. You know, that great multitude. That's right. It was 12 disciples. It was 120 individuals in the upper room, but you had 500 brothers that believed at the time. So even a select few of them were in the upper room when, you know, during Acts 2. You know, but yeah, you know, when Yahushua rose from the dead, these accounts are beautiful because how he moved afterward. He was the Heavenly Father was very strategic. How he had Yahushua go on to certain people and spirits in the conversations that they had. You know, I can't wait to find out in the kingdom. You know, that's something I want to see when he rose, how that happened, you know.
All right. Verse 22, it says, yea, and certain women also of our company made us astonished, which were early at his sepulchre.
There you go. Those few women, you had the 3 Marys, Anna, and the rest of the women that were there. You know, it was a handful of women that was there that saw that. You know.
Verse
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Mark's mom was one of those Marys that was present. You got it.
It says, verse 23, and when they found not his body, they came saying that they had also seen a vision of an angel which said that he was alive.
Man, bro, like, can you imagine this though? We read about it and it's beautiful, but can you imagine? This is somebody that rose from the dead, bro. Doing all these miracles, the Son of the Most High that rose from the dead. There was only a few counts within our culture of people that rose from the dead. And those accounts that we have were prophets touching them. And, you know, in the name of the Lord, and they rose up. Elijah and Elisha. Mm-hmm. Then you got Yahushua that rose from the dead.
Yeah, especially when you see the manner in which he was killed.
Bruh.
Yeah.
When you saw him take that crucifixion. You know what I'm saying? There's no way this guy can still be alive.
Yeah.
You have to be a man like that.
They mutilated him.
You know what I'm saying? It says no man's visage had ever been marred.
Yeah.
Anymore. In what's it, Isaiah 53?
I was gonna ask.
You know what I'm saying? So to see him take the worst beating humanly possible, crucified
from that.
The sword in the side, all that, and then you show up a few days later, rising up after the third day. And then he's with you, like he never left.
Yeah.
Only that's what I'm saying. To not be able to witness that account with your own eyes, the way we believe it now, that's why people think we crazy. They don't believe that he was resurrected.
And he was marred. He had the holes in his hand and his feet and in his side. He came marred. He presented himself to those men marred.
Proof.
Just to prove that.
Infallible proofs, yeah.
Infallible proofs. He came marred, bro.
Yeah.
Unrecognizable, and they recognized him just based off his word
Yep.
and the power.
Wow.
verse 24, it says, it's like in verse 25, it says, then he said unto them, or it's like in verse 24, my bad, and certain of them which were with us went to the sepulchre and found it even so as the women had said, but him they say not.
Mind you, this is Cleophas and his brother talking to this stranger. Cleophas and his brother is talking to this stranger right now about what took place. So he's telling the stranger in very grave detail about what just happened, including what just happened. You know what I'm saying? Past few days, what transpired. Man, even some woman that we know came over there and he was gone. Peter went over there, he was gone. Man, you know, Jake be animated telling the story and everything. This is them. What this brother's reading right now is what they're telling Yahweh Shai.
You came to Jerusalem, you didn't know none of this.
Yup. Yeah, you got it. And remember Yahweh Shai visited them. He appeared to them. Mm-hmm. This is 7 miles away. So the apostle Peter and John went over there 7 miles. So he went 7 miles right back to deliver the message to them. But in that trip, he made a few stops. Mm-hmm. You know, you got it.
Verse 25, then he said unto them, O fools, and slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken.
Now, was he wicked for calling them fools? No, man. He was being Jake. You know what I'm saying, man? This fool. You know? Because people are trying to say, you called him a fool. Was he wicked for that? No. Just go to show you context is key. You know what I'm saying? You got to know the context and got to be able to extrapolate. You know, you got it out.
Verse 26, ought not a Mashiach to have suffered these things and to enter into his glory? In the beginning, at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded unto them in all the scriptures the thing concerning himself. And they drew nigh unto the village whither they went. It says, and he made as though he would have gone farther, but they constrained him, saying, abide with us, for it is towards evening, and the day is far spent. And he went in to tarry with them. And it came to pass that as he sat at meat with them, he took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave it to them, and their eyes were open.
There you go. Their eyes were open after they ate, after they broke bread with him. He was there with them the whole time. They didn't, you know what I'm saying? They didn't know it was him. They were talking to him about it. And he asked questions, and they were adamant about it. And, you know, that's when they was like, shoot, you know, come into the crib real quick. It's late, man. It didn't be like that, man. I remember, man, there was a quick little testimony of some year, about 2013. There was a mysterious cat. You know what I'm saying? He started telling me things about myself. And that's why I was like, okay, this guy's an angel. You know what I'm saying? That's the testimony I had. But what made me want to stick around was that. Him going into the scriptures. Him talking about things and quoting them and everything like that. That's what had me like, it kept my curiosity moving. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I can, myself with my own personal experience, I can in a sense understand where they're coming from. Because this guy knew so much. So it's like, nah, go in the lodge with us, man. We want to talk to you for a little bit. And that's when it was revealed that it was Yahweh Shai. As soon as they ate the bread, he talked about the scriptures. He was in the spirit. That's when they realized. You got it out.
Verse 31, it says, I started 30 again. And it came to pass, as he sat at meat with them, he took bread and blessed it and brake and gave to them. And their eyes were open, and they knew him, and he vanished out of their sight.
Immediately, they had to hear it first. Goes right into the lesson that you had last week, bro. That feast. They was happy as hell, bro. They was geeked. Two brothers, like, man, y'all to us, whoever.
Yeah.
Bro, hold on, what? You know what I'm saying? Bro, like the chariots, brothers see them fire, you know, them fires.
Yeah.
It was that times, you know what I'm saying? You can imagine, bro. But they heard first and the Lord rewarded them afterwards.
Right.
Not that he had to. They wasn't looking for it.
He probably passed the bread the same way he did at the Last Supper. They probably noticed, like, hold up.
This seems.
Who knows?
Brought them back to remembrance.
Man,
Brought them back to remembrance.
Brought you
That's
back to
right.
remembrance,
They
bro.
got brought back to remembrance by the word. It's the word that brings you back to remembrance. It's the word that recognizes. As a matter of fact, that the water for bringing that's pretty much the point on that. Unless did they already say he disappeared?
Yeah.
Cool. We can bring up that Romans 8 and we can end it on that. You know, the spirit of the Lord bears with us with our spirit. Because it's spiritual. Now, obviously, the Lord's spirit is only dwelling in the Israelites. Isaiah 44 goes into that. But you have to be a special piece of Israel for Yahweh Shai to reveal himself to. The scriptures say, loosely paraphrasing, let the multitude perish that was born in vain, and let my grape be kept. Right. For with great labor I have made it perfect. So you have that small remnant that Yahweh Shai is just dealing with. And it wasn't of anything that we did within our own power. It isn't of any of our personal righteousness of what we've done as we've been here to be called into this ministry. It's clearly of selection and predestination before the foundation of the earth. It's just those spirits here in these last days being woken up. That snap right there, that voice that's being brought out there. All right, it's time. Wake up. Snap up. Oh, snap. That's what's happening right now. You know? Anybody got that Romans 8?
It's just like how the Lord said, I sanctify myself. Or he said he sanctified himself.
Yeah, yep. That's
And
it.
then he sanctified the disciples.
Mhm.
And then the people that believe on the word of the disciples, which is
That's
his
it.
word, we all end up being one at the end of the day.
Mhm.
You know?
That's
So
right.
when you see these prophecies pop, just like you like, bro, oh man, that's what that's talking about.
Yeah,
Bro, that happens to us every week.
every week. We're just excited about it. There be certain precepts that when you read a certain breakdowns and understanding, you be so reactive to it. It's like you've seen Yahweh Shai.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, you be like, oh. You get excited, call a brother. Man, bro, this precept, man, bro. It's like, I know it's late, bro. But real quick, man, I was reading. Bro, it's the same thing. About a word, bro, and Jake be excited about it like they've seen an angel. Like they've seen the Lord himself. You know?
Spirit and life.
That count for something.
Oh, yeah.
That count for something, bro. Like ain't nobody doing that. You know? It's like, come on, man. That counts, bro. The Lord is with us, brothers. The Lord is with us, and we know it, but I'm saying it. The Lord is with us more than we think.
Right.
He's with us more than we even think. You know, there be times when you even feel real close to the Lord. You be like, man, the Lord is even closer than that. You know what I'm saying?
Brother Karab back in Miami, he always say, man, the Lord loves us.
The Lord
That's
loves
his
us.
response
bro.
to a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, the Lord loves us. The fact that we got this knowledge and we woke up shows how much He loves us, bro. Because the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, bruised His Son, Yahweh Shai, the greatest being to ever exist, shed His blood so we could be covered. That's love that anything tangible can't come close to. Anything tangible can't come close to that. You know what I'm saying?
Matter of fact, when Abraham showed the Lord
I
that
was
he was
thinking
willing
about
to do
that.
that,
I was thinking about
he
that.
said, yep, I got you, Abraham. I just wanted to see.
Yeah, bro.
I just want to see.
Hey, when you read about that account, it tells you in Hebrews that Abraham did that knowing that Isaac would be raised from the dead.
Yep.
Isaac was raised from the dead, but it happened way later on. So the Lord didn't even do that.
The Lord ain't asking us to do nothing He wouldn't do Himself.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
He's the example.
He's the example.
He's the example to walk by faith.
Man. And it's only through the Spirit.
Right.
If you were chosen before the foundation of the earth, it's only select spirits that are willing to take it there. You know, the reason why those apostles were set up the way they were set up because they were willing to take it there. But it was the spirit that was already gifted to them to do that. That was their spirit. All of our spirit is the same way because we're following after their stead. We've entered into their labors. That comes into that fervency of drop everything and follow me. If we did that, man, we could be doing a lot right now. We could be doing so much. The Lord has blessed Jake. Jake is creative as hell. Like, Jake could have been doing a lot of things. But we dropped this fucking world to follow this beloved truth.
That's right.
Come on, man.
Yep.
That matters. We gonna see it. Hey, as I had the conversation with that elder yesterday, we talked about it. If the Lord rewards you sometimes for things you don't even ask for, just imagine when you really start asking. Just imagine when things really get bad and Jacob's trouble really hits. Just imagine. Oh man, the Lord gonna really start showing out. He gonna really start showing out. You got it, bro.
This is Romans 8. Somebody. Romans 8:16. It says the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, and how does it bear witness? By hearing. By hearing, man. That's Romans 10th chapter goes into that. You know, how have they not believed except a preacher have taught it to them? How have they heard unless it's been spoken unto them?
Right.
You know, so obviously the Spirit is there, but it takes the word to activate it. It takes the word for the Spirit to be there, of course, but it also takes the word to activate it. You know, we were all in America, lost causes as we were in America until the word was in our ear and it activated us.
Like
and
it
it
says
moved
in
us to
Peter.
do what we did.
In this voice from heaven we heard.
Man, let's get it. We got to end it off on that one. We got to end it off on that
And
one.
word plus faith equals the believer.
2 Peter 1:18.
Con. Yeah, we can end it off there. What you saying, Elder?
The word plus faith equals a believer.
That's right. That's right,
When you
man.
hear the word, you gotta have faith to believe that it's the
I was
word.
reading that earlier.
Beautiful.
They kind of had passed.
Gone.
But this is 2 Peter 1:16. It says, "For we have not followed cunningly devised fables when we were made known unto you the power and coming of our Lord Yahweh Shah Mashiach, but were eyewitnesses of his majesty." And that's why the disciples turned apostles, were willing to take those gruesome deaths, because they were eyewitnesses of his glory. And that goes for us too in the spirit, man. That's why we're standing the way we stand fervently in faith, approaching the throne of grace boldly, because we were ultimately eyewitnesses of his glory. Okay? It says, verse 17, "For he received from Yahweh the Father honor and glory when there came such a voice to him from the excellent glory, this is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased. And this voice which came from heaven we heard when we were with him in the holy mount."
And what did that voice say? Hear ye him.
That's right.
All right.
And that's full circle.
Full circle.
Like when they heard the voice, when all of the disciples, they moved immediately when they heard that voice, man. Hear ye him. Okay? And in 19, we have also a more sure word of prophecy.
And if I may, this account here is special. This letter is special because when this account happened, they wasn't allowed to tell nobody. So this is the Apostle Peter's, he's writing it down, telling the church, because it wasn't like they weren't supposed to tell nobody until the appointed time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying this is his first time uttering it,
Right.
but we do know that he was present there and he made it a point to write it within that letter. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, you know, that was the time appointed where the Spirit was on him to at least say it. You know, and the point of it is going into hear ye him. This is what happened right here. Hear ye him. It's meant for the church to hear it now. They got it. Which also, too, that account there circles right back to Deuteronomy 18, what was just read. Prophet like unto Moses, until ye shall hearken unto.
That's right.
Okay, so the Heavenly Father, by the way, those men heard the Father speak. That was the Father that spoke, hear ye him. That wasn't Yahweh Shai that said that.
Right, man. You know you're not the same person.
Right.
That's another good point to bring that topic out, yeah.
But also to show you that they heard the Father's mouth. Like, bruh, they heard that, man. So they were compelled. Not only did they know it was Yahweh Shai, but also you heard the mouth of the creator of all existence. You know what I'm saying? Can't nobody tell you shit after that. You know what I'm saying? That you ain't seen and what you doing is you tripping, you wicked. Nah. What they experienced, can't nobody tell them anything. In righteousness, I mean, of course. You know?
That's what it goes
It's
to
a figure of
word
speech.
That word martyr. Martus in the Greek, it goes into those that took on violent deaths due to their genuine faith in what they had seen.
Right.
You see? They saw the Lord. They saw the transfiguration. They saw all those things. They saw him work all those miracles. So you not finna tell me just because you want to rule in wickedness that I didn't see what I saw walking with that man.
Right.
Yeah, man.
You know? They say you just gonna have to kill me. So therefore they strove for the truth unto death
right.
based off that testimony.
That's right, man. It's beautiful stuff, man. We part of something special, bro.
No doubt.
Man, like, for real, man. Like,
No
shit.
doubt.
You know? It ain't really nothing else I can say after that. You know, has anybody got any points or precepts? Cool. Well,
Come on, brother.
the precept he read, we'll end it off on that. You know, hey, keep believing. Shalom, Lord, when this is edifying. Call halal. Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone that do rule well through the Holy Spirit. Peace, blessing, and salutation unto you elect, fulfilling your lots in all truth and all sincerity. Shalom.
Shalom.